Colombia on Monday backed down and agreed to accept repatriated citizens on military flights after President Donald Trump threatened major sanctions. Following the tone down, the Trump administration said it will suspend planned tariffs and more sanctions. The U.S. had also threatened that tariffs on all Colombian goods coming into the U.S. will go up to 50% from 25% in 1 week. A travel ban and visa revocations on Colombian government officials has also been reportedly lifted off. The U.S. president declared illegal immigration a national emergency and imposed a sweeping crackdown since taking office last Monday. He directed the U.S. military to help with border security, issued a broad ban on asylum, and took steps to restrict citizenship for children born on the U.S. soil. All right, for more on this, we're joined in by our correspondent Anil Thomas. Anil, there was love lost between Colombia and the U.S., but eventually in the developments that followed, we saw backtracking by Colombia. What do you make of the reasons for this?
Well, good morning, Preeti. Very much on the expected lines, and it gives more teeth to Trump administration and Trump himself when it comes to flexing his muscles. Remember, Colombia, as compared to Mexico, who Trump in his presidential address and also in his pre-election campaign had indicated that Mexico, Canada and China will be the countries which will see impositions or tariff impositions in the range of 10 to 60%. But having said that, there are close to 4 lakh immigrants who are illegally staying in the United States of America from Mexico, as compared to roughly around a little less than 2 lakhs from Colombia. Colombia is South America's strongest ally that the U.S. has. Huge trading partners, purely in terms of roughly around 23% of coffee that comes into America comes from Colombia. Along with that, there are many other things, textiles, crude that comes from Colombia. So Colombia is an important partner. This particular flexing of muscle against Colombia came as a surprise. And the buckle down was almost on expected lines, considering that tariff versus tariff doesn't work, especially when you're taking on a superpower like America. And I think better sense prevailed before things got out of hand. Pedro there deciding that, he's also offered to send his presidential plane to get the immigrants or the illegal citizens in America, Colombian citizens, back to Colombia. And this buckle down was very much on expected lines.
All right, so this was on expected lines, but for benefit of our viewers, Anil, help us understand the relationship between U.S. and Colombia, because such drastic sanctions and steps being initiated by Trump administration and then making Colombia backtrack on its own stand. Get us more as to how do we see the U.S.-Colombia relationship and also the days ahead.
Well, let's first look at the South American continent, and the closest ally that U.S. has is Colombia. As compared to Mexico, Colombia and America have worked on many issues, especially when it comes to trade, diplomatic, also when it comes to trafficking and drugs in particular. The Colombian drug cartels are always known. In terms of trade, close to 60 billion is the trade between Colombia and the United States. And it's one of the largest partners from the South American countries that trades with America. And the trade deficit is somewhere on the heavier side when it comes to United States having an advantage of close to 3 billion when it comes to trade. That's purely the trade part of it. But the significance of touching Colombia came as a surprise to the world. Because, the first instance of any country in the South American continent that would have been affected, that everyone was anticipating, was Mexico in terms of tariffs and also in terms of getting their illegal people out from United States of America. And in terms of numbers too, it's a shocking number. I said close to 4 lakh illegal citizens from Mexico in America, as compared to roughly around 1,95,000 from Colombia. So this came as a surprise move. And I think it's got to do somewhere with a calculated move that the Trump administration has taken. And I think they have succeeded. This particular buckle down or caving in by the Colombian president, Pedro, clearly indicates that Trump will believe that, he could have his way. And this could lead to, further flexing of arms that America and the Trump administration will do in the coming days. But purely in terms of more than the trade part of it, the tariff part of it, it was that travel imposition, no more visas being issued for Colombians to enter America, which would have come as a bigger drawback for the Colombians, and it would have affected trade very badly there, because the season is high. and it could have affected their business trade imbalance, which would have gone very heavily. And to find a new market at such a short time, especially with regards to the product that need to be exported from the country, would have been difficult for Colombia. And I think this particular buckle down clearly puts Trump, brings all smiles to Trump. It's a push that's come to a shove, and I think Colombia rightly deciding to buckle down and accept the terms of what United States and Trump administration has to decide.
All right, does this also set a precedent for other nations? Because you talked of how Trump announced strict action for China, for Mexico. Does this also set an example for other countries? Because this gives more teeth, Colombia's backtracking gives more teeth to Trump administration 2.0, isn't it?
Well, unpredictability is the middle name of Donald Trump, if one may say so. Take the liberty to say so, because, he could do anything on the table. And I think every country worth its salt who's got some or the other linkage with the United States, purely in terms of trade, purely in terms of diplomatic, purely in terms of strategic relations, would be having plan A, plan B, plan C, even plan D on the table, because the way Trump administration has decided, but there are many softer stance that he's taken. Many expected him to, in his first presidential signing, to have a major announcement on tariff. But he's looked at setting his house in order within America before looking at flexing his arms. This is the first big call that he's taken purely in terms of tariffs and how he's going to deal with Colombia. And I think that gives other countries jitters. Purely how would Canada look at it? How would, for that matter, China and also Mexico look at it? Because China has said that if you're going to impose tariffs on, we're going to come back with more tariffs on America. So it's China is in a win-win situation here. They wouldn't lose much, but for Mexico and Canada, this could be big trouble. And I think not only that, any country that's having trade or trade partners has with the United States of America will be getting jitters for the simple reasons. There are many countries that have illegal immigrants in United States of America, countries like Honduras. So they could all be getting jitters, because what Trump administration can do in the next moment is something that would even catch the people of America by surprise.
All right, Anil, thank you so much for joining in with those details.